Howdy lovelies, how are you all doing? Welcome back to our crafting, where we learn, grow and craft together. Today's session is a tiny little bit different. We are going to, I don't even know what we have to call this. We're going to add a serviette to paper using cling wrap. That's right. You get some lovely serviettes and you can then incorporate these in your paper projects anywhere that you would use normal paper. Now, I'll show you and walk you through the steps. There's a little bit of preparation that needs to be done, but let's jump right into it. I have a very well loved piece of wax paper that you can see that square where I normally iron the paper. We need a warm iron, no steam iron. A steam iron will work if you deactivate the steam function. It just needs to be dry heat. You need cling wrap, the wax paper or baking paper. Here it's called wax paper and that's what I use. And your serviette. You also need some paper to iron this on because that is what the serviette will attach to with the cling wrap. Now I know in America they call it saran wrap. So I've got a serviette. This is what I would want to do. It is a lovely serviette. I wish I had. It is so beautiful. I wish I did not have to cut this up. I wonder if it will work, if I will be able to. You know what? I'm going to try this for the first time ever with you. I've never done this with big pieces. I've got one that I have done previously. Let me just look for it quickly. This was my very first ever one, and you can still see the plastic on there. It's this beautiful summer-like serviette that I would want to use to make a tag with in a tag pocket. This was my first ever, so I've only always done a quarter of a serviette. I've never done the complete thing, but you will agree with me that this is just way too beautiful to cut up because I can't cut up there. It would be lovely to cut out afterwards and use, but if I cut alongside there, I will cut this rose in half. If I cut alongside there, I will cut that postcard and a bit of that greenery there, which is not too bad, but still, I would love to use this whole thing. This is just, sure, so gorgeous. Really, truly so gorgeous. I can just see this as little circles, maybe tags. This is beautiful. So let's get started. Let me not get totally awestruck with this serviette. You get different layers. There are serviettes with 2 plies, 3, 4. It depends where you are from, what is available. So what you do, I know some people will take sticky tape in the middle and pull it right off. I keep the backing because I use that to make faux tissue paper with. I take some time, very carefully. Just at the end of this, I pull this apart. Now we just want the top layer and the next two to actually just lift up. Now it will sometimes be difficult. You will find serviettes where it is really easy to pull apart. Others might not be so easy. Now here we've got one layer, but there's still another layer there. And I also need to get that off. Now it will be a bit tricky, like I said. But patience. Sometimes it's really difficult. And other times it becomes easier. There we go. It's separated. So now very carefully, the iron is already on. I'm just pulling this apart slowly, carefully. You can't just rip it because then you will tear your serviette. So just pull it ever so gently. If you see it hooks a bit, you know, it's still stuck, then just gently pry it loose. And I'll show you in the next video what to do with these pieces and how I change that into faux tissue paper. And there we have. So we've got that part now. I'll put it one side because that is what we're going to use. This part, like I said, we're going to keep it, but I will also just pull this apart, all real gently as well for our next part. So I'll stop with this one right now and we will continue with the next video. So next layer, we're going to have to make like a sandwich. So the wax paper, I'm going to open this up. So you will see my well-loved piece of wax paper. I work, because I'm on my cutting mat, I'm not going to try and experiment and find out whether it's heat resistant or not. So I just got a little wooden plank there, cutting board that I am using, and I will be ironing on that. So after the wax wrap, we need two things. One is your paper. I use my A4 paper, but now we have to just adjust this a tiny little bit. So I'll probably need more wrap as well. Or we can maybe just, we'll see. This will probably be too thick there, but we will see how it works out. And then we need our cling wrap. I just want to see, I don't really have the space here for all of this, especially not with a hot iron to my right side. See, it's even a little bit too wide for this paper on this one side. So what I'm going to do is we need the length of that. Move that up, because I don't think I've got any A3 paper. I have A3 paper, this might just work. Or maybe a very ugly piece of scrapbook paper. Do I have any of that? Let me just quickly see if I have something. So I got some A3 paper, which is twice the size of the A4. And I'm just snipping off this side because this is too long. But on this side, it is too short. So we have that. And then we need a piece at this point. Now, I've never glued paper that I intend to heat set. So I have no idea how this is going to react to heat. Never done it. So we will find out real soon whether it's a yay or a nay. So we just need that extra bit of length there, right? And would you now believe it, it's still too short. Man, oh man, can it now be so difficult? So guess what? We glue another piece of paper on there. If we need to experiment with that, we might as well just do the whole thing and get it over and done with. We will see how this holds up. I do hope it's not going to mess up our project. But let's see. Alright, so the paper is now the right width for this, and I just glued that down. There's a bit of glue that side. So now for the cling wrap to go onto this. I'm sorry that you have to experience all the rummaging here. Now remember, the glad wrap needs to be a little bit bigger than your serviette. If I can only get it. The end of this, there, finally, got it. This is going to pose a bit of a challenge, but we will see, It can only be either failing miserably, or it can be a huge success. That's the two options. I'm just going to snip this off here. And I must be careful not to melt the glad wrap next to the iron here. Oi, that was almost. And I don't want this now to, it needs to be as straight as possible. So there we have that part. And now we need a little bit more. It needs to be bigger. It needs to be bigger than what you are attaching. So that one keeps pulling that side. A little bit like so. See, an anti-static thing would probably be better. Now, one more strip. Let's see if we can get this sorted without making too much of a mess. It is truly the first time that I am doing the whole serviette. I've never done the whole serviette, only part of it. And parts of it have been very successful. I have done a video before. I sadly lost it due to my phone playing up, because I just use my phone for recordings. this piece had now stuck down. Can you imagine that? Okay, got that. Sort of, almost. And I'm going to have to touch that there and see how it goes. I'm not too sure this is going to work, but we will see soon enough. And now we need another piece for there, which is fine. We'll try it. If it doesn't work, so be it. Then it doesn't work. Then we know it did not work. But if we never try, oh, it just clung to the roll. And all of that moving it about and fitting it in. Right. Now, that should be okayish. I'm going to add the serviette. Remember, the cling wrap should be bigger than what you want this to cling to. So I'm going to put that down, and I need to just move my paper a little bit. You can't see where I'm moving it. You can just see I am moving it. So there. Man, oh man, this is a story and a half, just because I now want to try to get this. Okay, I'm going to fold this over, and this is too small. So another piece of wax paper. I just tore that. And for this one, I'm just simply going to add another piece this side, so it might be easier to remove later. I'm going to start at this end to iron there. The iron had been, I just want to put the cling wrap in there, close by if needed, and then start ironing. The iron is quite hot. This is one that I bought specifically for crafting, so it's not worried if there's plastic on the bottom or any such thing. I'm just going to move this in and iron that side right to the corners. It normally goes really quickly. This is, however, a bigger piece, so I will be just moving this up so I can do the bottom part as well. Don't iron your fingers. Trust me, I've done that before. Paying attention to the paper and not where I'm ironing. And then I actually get myself burned. So there we have a piece of paper that moved, sadly. So there's a little bit of paper not at the bottom. I just want to get this end here. And it looks as if it was a success, even though it's such a big piece. The corners, however, here, I don't know if you can see that. Here we have a bit of an issue because the paper moved. It slid down. I should have just lined it up again. I just need to iron the top corner there. I can see that one is not, oh, it's hot, ironed on properly. I can see it's loose there. I've had it before where my corners just didn't want to iron on. I guess that's what they have to call it. Iron on serviette paper. I think there we have it now. It looks fine, except for this corner here at the bottom where we do not have paper. And I'm sorry for the noise in your ears. I'm quite interested in knowing what has happened and transpired with the actual part that we had to patch. So let's see. Let's do the great reveal. And now to just pull this apart, you will see that the saran wrap is sitting in between. This is the second layer of wax paper that we have added, just to make sure that we could cover this part. No, I don't throw this away. I keep using it. Now for the original, you will see the cling wrap comes off in little shards. Those are the pieces that were bigger than our serviette. I simply pull this off really carefully. You can use the wax paper over and over and over, hence why mine is a bit large. And last bit of noise out of the way, and there is our iron-on paper. You can pull these little pieces of plastic right off. Also here, but only thing is that part did not iron on because there's no paper. I wonder, that's just now me thinking, what if I just glue that on? Now my little scrap piece here is obviously not long enough for that, so let's cut it at a diagonal. The glue seems okay-ish. Yes, there is a bit of that, but the rest is fine. So what I'm going to attempt now is, let's see if we can fix this. If that works, then we probably can fix this. So let's see. I've never done this. Now, how am I going to get that in between? That's the big question. So what I will do is I'm going to glue this down, just so that we know there's that extra. We don't want that extra glue on it now. Then I'm going to fold this over. And let's see. This is now truly a patchwork project, but let's see if we can fix this. I would love to have this whole thing on one sheet. It would be amazing. Now it is a small sliver that we have to add. So let's see what will happen. Now, how in this world did that now glue down? Is it possible? Did I now really truly glue it down already? Oh, that's sad. But there you have it. That part is glued down, but this part is not. So let's put plastic in there, and let's see whatever will be, will be. And I'm going to pull it out. Apparently, I'm going to pull it out, just because we can pull it out. Lifting this up and sliding that in there. Next time, I will make sure that I actually truly do align my paper better. Let's see if this will work. The rest did. I can't see that this won't. Yes, obviously it would have been preferable to have it sorted from the start, but it did not work out that way. Somehow it wasn't aligned properly, but it's okay. See how we can easily fix this, and now see if we were actually successful. Is this still on, or did it switch off? It's still pretty hot. I think this is sorted. So let's see if it actually did iron on. And we'll peel this one away. And ta-da! All of this now. Yes, if you're going to work with this, it will look horrible. But if you're not going to, it worked. It was perfectly fine to get this fixed. Let's take the wax paper away for the last time, making a noise in your ears. And there we have it. There's a piece that also lifted. I wonder why. That is so sad. And I just said last time that I'm taking away that. How did I not see that lifting up earlier? It did not iron on there. This whole part didn't. So what I'm going to do is just heat it up again and just iron on that part. Maybe it can still iron on, stick on, settle itself. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but there's no harm in trying. But I'm sure you will agree with me that this is such a lovely serviette, and I do not want to do only a part of it. This would make an amazing cover for a journal. That makes me now think. That makes me think. And there we have it. And now it is ironed on. So now we learned a few lessons, which is amazing. One, if your paper is not big enough, you can align it, and glue stick actually stick well under, not just pressure, but under heat. And if you need to touch up to make it a bigger piece of cling wrap so that you can iron it on, it still works, even though you overlap it and you add pieces of paper, because there's the proof. We added 3 pieces to the bigger piece. This part is just where I did not glue it on properly, but that's easily fixed if that bothers you. And now we have a beautiful big piece of paper that can be used, and this is more than 30 centimeters, so it is slightly bigger than your 30 by 30 centimeters. So it's bigger than a Scrabble page. But imagine the possibilities with this. Imagine the possibilities. Isn't that just amazing? Well, I'm happy that I decided not to cut this, and we could learn something new. Like I say, or said, actually, I've only ever done a quarter of a serviette. So this was a learning curve for me too. If it can work for one, it can work for more pieces, and I am so chuffed with this. So now to start creating, this would be amazing. Absolutely amazing. Just love it. Thanks for joining me today. This was a big learning curve for all of us and a challenge to get it sorted, problem solving, but we made it work in the end. And this is one thing that I want to just quickly tell you before I send you off on your merry ways, is that there are no mistakes in papercraft. Well, in arts, there's no mistake. Embrace the imperfections, and it turns out well. So again, thank you for joining me. If you go try this for yourself, please tag Mama Crafting on social media. If you want to see more content like this, give me a thumbs up. I'll be appreciating it if you subscribe to my channel too. See you back soon. Goodbye.